Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Today we're going to be going over which tablet is the best for under $400. Now there are three tablets going head to head here. There is the Asus Transformer Pad 300 coming in at $379 for the 16 gig or $399 for 32 gig. We have the iPad 2 coming in at 16 gig, and we have the Samsung Galaxy Tab 2 10.1 coming in at $399 for the 16 gig as well. Alright guys, so while we're back here, let's just go over the materials in the back. You have a plastic kind of, I don't know what to call this material exactly, but it's very reminiscent of like a 3D scratcher kind of thing. Holographic kind of thing. Very nice, very presentable, and very easy to hold. Will not scratch or leave any fingerprints on it, and has a good grip to it. For the iPad, you do have an aluminum, which, although while a lot of people like the feel of it, it's easily prone to scratching, scraping, and just very slippery. So kind of like the first thing you have to get with an iPad is a case, just because it'll slip right out of your hands otherwise. Lastly, you have the Samsung tablet, which has a really nice smooth plastic with a really nice finish that makes it very easy to hold overall. So just differences on that. Second, you have the cameras, which over here you have a VGA on the iPad 2, you have a 3 megapixel on the Samsung Galaxy Tab 2, and you have a 8 megapixel on the Asus, so you can only imagine which one will be the better camera. In terms of speakers, both the iPad 2 and the Asus Transformer Pad have a mono speaker on the bottom and side, and there's only one speaker, whereas the Galaxy has two speakers on the left and right on the front, so you can guess which one would best sound. Now, in terms of ports and connections, the iPad only has a headphone port, so that'll be the only connection you have on the device besides the proprietary connection at the bottom. Whereas the Asus and the Samsung both have a micro SD card slot, meaning you can expand both of their memories, and they each have their own extra. The Asus has a micro HDMI port on the side, so you can actually connect the micro HDMI to regular HDMI, and the Samsung has a micro SD card slot, but it also has an IR blaster, which means you can use this as a universal remote control for any TV in your house. Alright guys, so let's get right into the comparison. In terms of software, you have Android 4.0 on here and you have iOS 5 on here. Softwares are going to differ in terms of customization versus simplicity. So in terms of speed though, it's kind of hard to find an exact winner. Even with the live wallpaper, the quad core would probably be the fastest processor wise. Even in terms of opening folders, definitely going to be quicker for the quad core speed. So if you're looking for the overall processor speed, it would go to the Transformer 300. However, let's go to actual usage and kind of see how everyone differs. So first we're going to go into browser, and just go right here and just see how the browser is. So in terms of each browser, I'm going to move two at a time, so just see how they kind of move. Now let's go with these two. So you can see how they move. Again, if you saw the other comparison video, the Asus Transformer doesn't respond as well when it comes to browser compared to other ones. Overall, compared the Samsung to the iPad, you have both really smooth transitions on both of them. The difference would mainly be I would say the iPad is a little bit quicker, but it's quicker for a bad reason actually. It's because it doesn't support flash, whereas on the Galaxy Tab you can actually use full flash and view a website just like you would normally. So that's going to be the web browser comparison. Also, you can see more in your web page. It's not so boxed up. You know, even if you put it on portrait, you can see the full website all the way down, whereas here it's cut off. So in the comparison, it's just always a ratio difference. The iPad is you know, more of a outdated 4:3 ratio compared to the present 16:9 ratio that everything uses right now. All right. And now in terms of music player, let's go to a song on each one and hear them out. First we're going to start off with the iPad.
What's up, bro? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Another shady mission. Tricks. Like watching pictures in that.
Alright, that was the iPad. Now we can go to this one.
I'ma send this one out for y'all. Know what I mean? Cause I ain't bad at you. Heard y'all tearing up shit out there. Kicking up dust. Giving a motherfuck. Yeah, niggas.
Alright. And now the Samsung Galaxy tab.
Now we was once two niggas of the same kind. Quick to holler at a hoochie with the same line. You was just a little smaller, but you still roll. Got stressed to YA and hit the hood.
Alright guys, so in terms of loudness, it would actually probably go to the Asus and the iPad for being loud. However, in terms of clarity, the Samsung is by far the clearest, and also, you know, as you saw, I had to kind of lift the Asus up. With the iPad, at least I don't have to lift it up when it's on its back. But when you have a case around it, it's still muffled as well. So the main problem with these two is when you have a case around them, the speaker gets muffled. You know, even if it doesn't surround it completely, it still surrounds it a little bit. So it just you don't get the same kind of quality you would normally get. Whereas with the Samsung, it doesn't matter if you have a case around it because you do have these nice front speakers, so it doesn't get blocked by a case at all. So overall, the music player would go to the Samsung just because of the stereo speaker instead of mono, as well as it's on the front instead of on the back. Now in terms of videos, it's going to be kind of tricky.
War has started. War has started. And we are hopelessly outgunned. We are outgunned.
Alright, just looking through the videos on each of them.
Here with the mission, sir. Here with the mission back in the world. Trying to save it. Trying to save it.
Doctor, I need you to come to me.
What if I say no?
I'll persuade you.
What do you want me to do? It's called the Avengers Initiative. I thought I didn't qualify.
Alright guys, so just go over a couple of things. Oh, I didn't realize it was stretched. So just go over a couple of things on the different video players. If you noticed, one of the main downsides to the iPad is it can never fill up the entire screen, or if it does, it's extremely stretched because it's a 4:3 ratio again versus 16:9. So even this was actually the stretched version. I could actually even make it small. I can make it even smaller. So just it's not going to be as good when watching videos for that reason alone. Comparing these two, you have again a better experience just because of the stereo speakers in the front. Not only to mention that, but you have a nice equalizer when watching a movie built into it, and you can send it right to your TV using DLNA. Which you can do that with an iPad if you haven't spent $100 extra just to make your TV compatible with it. So you can also do that with that. But overall, the Samsung Galaxy Tab would just win overall when it comes to videos for the front-facing speakers and 16:9 ratio, and also overall brightest screen and best screen. Samsung makes the iPad screen as well, but they just always kind of make it brighter and more vivid when it comes to Samsung. So that's going to be on videos. Now in terms of camera play, so in terms of the 3, it took a little bit closer on the iPad, but just basically you can definitely see the sharpness will go to the Asus. Followed in this picture, actually, I would say the iPad looks a little bit sharper, just because the Galaxy definitely overexposed the shot. Definitely still a lot of noise. I mean, even if you zoom in a little bit, you can kind of see fuzziness on the area. On this one, the fuzziness is a little bit less noticeable, again, just because it's 8 megapixel versus the other ones. Now, if we go to color reproduction, oops. If we go to color reproduction, I would probably say the most outstanding color would be on the Samsung, followed right behind by the iPad. Colors just seem to be very on point with all of those. The Asus actually didn't do as well in the color, but in terms of the actual ring around it, it definitely looks a bit sharper. So comparing those, the ring would be sharper on here, followed by the iPad, and then by the Samsung. Samsung just really didn't do that good in terms of clarity on any of these shots. So, just going over that. Now in terms of battery life, you have a very easy winner here, but followed right behind as well. So for the first winner is going to be the Samsung, just because it can go as long as 11 hours if need be. On average, you'll get about 10 hours. Even heavy usage will still get you about 9 hours. The iPad quickly follows by a 10-hour mark at its longest, and generally most people that use it will have about 8 hours. As for the Asus, you generally get about a 7-hour battery life in comparison to it. If you turn the processor speed down, though, remember this is the only quad core out of the group, you can actually turn the processor speed down to a dual core by putting it on power saving mode, and then you'll actually get a longer battery life. That one will go along about 9 or 10 hours even, about 9.5 on average. Now in terms of price point, we haven't went over them. These two are both $399 for 16 gig, whereas this one is $379 for the 16 gig, as well as $399 for a 32 gig. So which one wins in what categories? Alright guys, let's see the comparison. So in terms of look and feel, I gave this tablet to about 4 people, and overall everyone said that the Samsung Galaxy Tab 2 was the winner for look and feel. In terms of gaming, it's really easy. The Asus Pad 300 has the best graphics card and the best processor, and plays games the best. In terms of the iPad 2, first goes to simplicity, of course. You know, iOS is very simple. No one has ever argued that it is going to be simple to use. In terms of web browsing, a slight advantage goes to the Galaxy Tab 2. iPad 2 is fluid when compared to it, as we saw. However, the lack of flash just takes it away from it. So the web browser overall will go to the Galaxy Tab 2. In terms of extras, it would go to the Asus just for having the micro HDMI built into it, as well as the micro SD card slot. iPad will also take the accessories portion. Accessories are going to be the most found with the iPad 2. Now in terms of music and movies, it would go to the Galaxy Tab 2. Galaxy Tab 2 just has better stereo speakers, brighter screen, and better color. In the camera overall, it goes to the Asus Pad 300. Overall with price, it will go to the Asus Pad 300. You just get more bang for your buck. For $379, it's $20 cheaper than the other two tablets, as well as for $399 you get double the storage compared to the other tablets. So it's just going to be the better buy for the price. And finally, in terms of battery life, it's going to be the Galaxy Tab 2, which, if you're keeping score, that means the Galaxy Tab 2 is the best tablet to get under $399. Now, of course, this is debatable because depending on what category you're looking for, you know, you might be going with the Asus Pad 300, or you might be going with an iPad 2 for simplicity and accessories. So it just really depends on what you want out of your tablet. Alright guys, if you have any other questions between these 3 tablets, let me know. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.